All right, great. I think I can start by just kind of asking about the experience for students. And my first question is for you, Rowan. Can you tell us a little bit about what was it like transitioning into college and how college steps made a difference for you?
Yeah, so I went to a kind of a bigger high school, so I guess transitioning into a college setting wasn't all that different. When I was younger, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and originally I was looking at Landmark College in Putney, Vermont, which my parents were pushing for, but I didn't want to go there. I didn't need all the support they offered. And then I heard about the College Steps program at Castleton, and I knew I wanted to go to Castleton. So I applied there and I got into the program and I got into the college. And that was a pretty smooth transition, I think, which made it really easy going into my freshman year of college.
Awesome. Can you talk a little bit about what the mentor support was like and how it helped you in college?
Yeah, so my freshman year, the mentor I had, I was a big Patriots fan, just like me. So so we met once a week and would usually play Madden. Sometimes we'd play 2K and hockey and stuff like that. And then so he was in the fall, and then for my spring semester, my mentor and I would work on homework, which was really helpful. And so we would go to the library and be able to get a lot of work done. And then my sophomore year, my third mentor, she helped me with just kind of getting through the COVID year because I was one of not many people living in the dorms. So there wasn't much going on. There weren't many people to talk to. So having someone to talk to on a weekly basis. And then she also helped me with when I took stats in the fall of 2021. So that was very helpful.
That's great. Do you feel like you were part of a community of learners?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's some really bright individuals in the program at Castleton, and I absolutely felt like there's a community there.
Fantastic. And you were saying before we started that you're getting ready to graduate. I think it'd be really awesome if you want to share what your next step is after graduating.
Yeah, so last Saturday was my graduation, and for the near future, I'm just kind of taking the year off to kind of see where I'm at and see what I want to do, because ultimately, I'm thinking of going to graduate school to pursue a degree in museum studies, and if not that, then continue with history, which is my undergrad degree. So taking that time to see which one I want to do, and if I even want to go to grad school, if going right into the museum field would make more sense.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You got it. Rob, my next question is for you. Being a parent of a college step student, could you tell us about your experience with your son, Anthony, transitioning into college and then what it was like
Mm.
working with college steps?
Oh boy, yeah. So for the parents on the line, I don't know that I've ever if your child is going from high school to college, I don't think there's anything I could say that you're going to believe that's going to make you not worried about that. Because I was too, and that was it's funny. Rowan mentioned the COVID and the pandemic. This was 2020. Everything's virtual, everything's crazy. How are we going to do this? A lot of nervousness. You want to engage with a program like College Steps because of what it could, all the great connections and the conversations and the being associated with peers. It's all amazing. We were nervous we weren't going to have any of that, right? Because it was all going to be virtual and all those things. And I'm happy to say, all this time later, that it didn't work out that way, and it ended up being perfectly amazing. And all the mentors that Anthony was, my son, was assigned to, Um, Not only helped with the classes and making sure he was organized and was staying on top of things, but also made sure that he was having those connection points. Sometimes Tommy can attest to this, even when he didn't want to. He wanted to, "Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to go play a video game." He would get on these calls or team calls or Zoom calls with his mentors and his peers and have a little fun. Sometimes you got to force that. So yeah, the transition was scary. I don't want to lie about that, but it went really, really well, and really proud of where we're at right now. I think from a mentor perspective, to me, it's always a learning process, right? It takes maybe a couple weeks or a semester to get figured out who are the right folks and matching that up. But we didn't have a lot of drama on that end. I think a couple of meetings that we had with Anthony, we had it figured out what was going to work really well for him. And I can say that about Tommy and the rest of the team. That's something they're really good at, making sure those matches make sense for the student, because ultimately that's the goal, right?
Absolutely. Could you give a few examples of like where you've seen Anthony grow?
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think one of the scariest things, I guess, aside from the pandemic, aside from going to college, aside, from not having these sort of defined things that you do every day when you go to high school, right? A regular public school, if you will. It's that no one's going to tell you or make sure you're doing the work you're supposed to do, right? That's super, super scary to me. Like, it's like no one's going to make sure you're doing the homework on time. That's all on you as a college student, right? You got to take that on. That of course I was very, very nervous about that, but I think what happened was between Tommy and the mentors that Anthony had, we really got through that, and that, I guess you could call it executive functioning, whatever term you want to throw at it. That managing your time and what you do is a huge, huge step in the right direction for Anthony and for us, our family. It's just been amazing. So that's one thing. I'd say the second thing is this idea of speaking up for himself, right, and sort of advocating for himself. It's been huge, whether it's registering with accessibility services or telling a professor, reminding a professor, "Hey, I need to get that extra half a time or whatever was in my accessibility agreement," whatever that is, right? Taking that stuff on and being his own advocate, I've seen a huge change where I don't even know if I had to do anything with any of that this school year. He had a couple of emails he had to send. He did it, and it was locked and loaded. So I mean, those are two, I think, not necessarily classwork related examples of growth that have just been phenomenal to watch. So could have done it without the mentors, that's for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. My next question is for our mentors. Charmaine, can you share with us what's been your experience working with college step students? What are your duties?
I would say like I love it. I think I just love all my students. They are like family when we walk in there and working with them. First and foremost responsibility, I feel like we have to build trust with them so they can trust us. They can share whatever going through, like whatever going in their brains about academics or about like if they want to do anything. So our responsibilities were like provide guidance, advise them, give them feedback and support to the students to establish goals, share lessons, whatever they are learning, so they can actually sometimes they some students were taking like a classes like where they were very excited about, so they come and then share with us that okay, we learned this today, and then when they were sharing with us, we were like, wow, we didn't know that. And then they are into it more, and then they were, oh, you want to know something more, you will be amazed. And then that's how we started communication. We celebrate successes, even if it's a small. We let our students know that, wow, you did a great job, because we all know like how important it is to be acknowledged. So we provide them all their tools to be able to become a better versions of themselves. So I think like these are like, we actually have these kind of responsibilities. So we actually take them with the students, and then, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. My next question is for Kirsten. And it's basically the same question. Can you share with us what has been your experience working as a peer mentor for College Steps?
So I've really liked it so far. I am primarily online only, so I only meet virtually with my students, and just simply getting them to turn on their web cameras is like the biggest thing in the world, because it's showing that they're starting to trust you, and that's my biggest thing that I try and build first is trust. And then we slowly go into like academics. Some of them have issues with like pre-employment or things like that, and we start working on those as we move through it. The main thing I try and do is I want it to be fun, and I try and mix everything in with what they like to do. So I have a student that likes comic books, so we mix in like his ethics class in with comics, and he really gets him going and really excited, and then he brings it to his own class and shares it with everyone. So things like that is what really makes it for me.
That's awesome. So much of the journey is one of like being a team and like learning together. Can you share just like a few examples of where you and a student had a breakthrough, or where like you saw they got something, or they grew in a particular area?
One of my students, he would not meet with me for very long. We weren't clicking. And then all of a sudden, because we have the same majors, it clicked, and he started staying longer and longer each time. And he started participating more, telling me more. And really all I did was be patient with them and let them know this is their time. This is for them and to help them, and they need to help us as much as they can, because it's kind of hard to help if they can't give us a little bit. And that's the major breakthrough, is getting them to give us that little bit so we can help them.
Absolutely. Great answers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My next question is for Rowan. Can you tell us, Rowan, how many mentors did you work with when you were in College Steps?
Yeah, so in total, I worked with 3, like I had mentioned. I had 2 my freshman year. The one in my fall semester, he was on the soccer team, and he had a pretty busy schedule, so I went to somebody else in the spring. And like I had mentioned, we did homework and stuff like that. And then in my sophomore year, I had a third mentor, and so 3 overall. And with her, we both played rugby at Castleton. So that was something that we often would talk about, and sometimes we would toss around a rugby ball and stuff like that.
There we go. That's awesome. Can I ask you, what's been your absolute favorite part of being part of College Steps?
Oh, I get that's kind of a tough one to answer, but I'd say probably having a mentor. They're really kind of become a part of your college experience. And my third mentor, I'm friends with all of them, but the third one I had like last summer. So I played tennis at Castleton last summer. We went to North Adams because she lives kind of pretty local to me, and so we went to North Adams and played tennis a little bit. We were able to kind of continue that connection. But I think the connections that you build, that was kind of the thing that I took out of it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. My next question is for Kirsten. It's kind of a 2-part question. Why did you become a mentor? And what's been your favorite part of this experience working with students?
I became a mentor because I wanted to help people, and I wanted to meet new people, and this was a way to do it because I'm kind of far away from like all the campuses, and only online you get very limited. Like it doesn't matter what the student is or anything like that. We're all people, and it's all just good to socialize and understand each other. And then the second part was why I am excited for it. Was that what it was? Okay, so the
Yes.
reason why I'm so excited, and like even now I'm like kind of having a hard time containing it, is because I like learning new things about my students and I can apply them to myself, which is great because each student has like habits or things that work for them that I never would have even thought of. And now I can apply them, and I can tell everyone else about them, and all this and that. And I really just like that aspect of learning from them. And it's just made me like view everything so much differently.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. My next question is for Rob. Can you tell us a little bit about what have been some positive social experiences that Anthony has had?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think uh, what Sharmeen was saying, and Kirsten touched on a little bit too, is this they're peers, right? They're the mentors and the students are, you know, rough around the same age. They're going to school, they're doing the things, right? So they're peers from that perspective. So it's different than me uh, saying, "Hey, let's go out and eat dinner, or go talk, or do whatever," right? So I think about that first year that was all remote and it was a little more difficult. And I think this past year, where I think one of the mentors was involved in some kind of Halloween party on campus, was all legit on campus and everything. And Anthony went to this, and it was just absolutely incredible because he just went on his own, and I was like, wow, this is great. So stuff like that is amazing. I think now, even just the semester just ended, um, spends a couple of days over there, whatever the time was that he allowed him for those. And a lot of it, I'm looking at the paper, a lot of it was sessions, some of it was just social, and it he just loves going there and hanging out and socializing with that mentor group. I think it's absolutely amazing. Of course, all the schoolwork has to get done. We got to make sure we got the assignments are done and they're due, and all the help that goes along with that. Making sure we're staying on top of things. I love that part of it, but that socialization part over the 3 years is just kind of going like this. Like let's hang out and chat. And I think we're a big. It's a little personal, but we're a big holiday house over here, and we go a little nuts decorating, especially for Halloween. We do a garage, a whole haunted thing. A couple hundred people come by and get scared a little bit. And we actually, a couple of the mentors came by to check it out, which I thought was so cool. They came by to check it out and scream and get scared a little bit, which was absolutely amazing. And it kind of made Anthony's week, I think, but it was awesome.
I have to say it made my week, Rob, because that was hands down the most like awesome haunted house I've ever
Oh,
seen.
jeez. I wish he was on the call. You could tell him. Well, you probably told him that already.
I did.
And whoever did not attend that Halloween party, we all saw the videos.
So
The whole
there you
video,
go.
it
There you
was like
go.
7-8 minutes long, but we all were hooked to that. Okay.
He does a lot. He puts a lot of work into
Yeah.
it.
That's
Thank you
great.
for that.
Thank you, Rob and
Mhm.
Charmaine.